Nadeem here with PC.Solutions.Net. Today I will show you how to share a folder in Outlook with somebody else in your Exchange organization. Simply go ahead and open Outlook, and I have two profiles set up already. I'm going to share from the profile Outlook, which is going to be user test 1, and I will share it with another profile for user test 2, so that way you can see both ends of the equation. You can get to your folder that you want to share several different ways. If it's your inbox, you can simply click Mail. If it's your calendar, you can simply click Calendar. Or another method is you can click on your folder list, and then once in the folder list, simply right-click the folder you want to share. In my case, I will start with the calendar, go into Properties, Permissions, simply add the other user you want to share with. Type in the name. I'm going to share with test 2. Okay. And now I can give the user test 2 individual permission. For example, maybe I want test 2 to be able to edit the entries that test 2 has created in my calendar, and folder should be visible. We just have to wait for it to update the server, and this may take a while if the server is offsite or hosted, depending on how fast your internet connection is. You can also choose a permission level by clicking the down arrow over here, but the permission levels are not very clear, so I always like to select specific permissions from the list over here so I know exactly what kind of permission the other person is getting to my calendar or my folder. So we have given the user edit. We are going to give it folder visible. As you can see, by default, every user has access to every other user's free busy time. This means that other users can see if you're free or if you're busy, but they cannot see the actual entries. So in this case, I'm going to give the user test 2 access to full details, and I'm going to let user test 2 delete the items that test 2 has created in my calendar. If I use all, then test 2 will be able to delete entries in my calendar that I have created. Maybe I don't want to do that, so I will choose own. So we have edit the entries that test 2 has created, folder is visible, access to full details, delete items that test 2 has created, and going to hit apply. You don't have to hit apply anymore, simply OK will do. So now we have shared this calendar with another user, and you can see the little icon of a hand. I don't know if you can see that. That shows that the calendar is shared. So let's create a test entry for 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. And I'm going to go ahead and create this entry. And now I'm going to exit out of Outlook and log into the other profile for user test 2. And we will see if this entry shows up for user test 2. So exiting out, and just give it a couple of seconds for Outlook to close all the way. Open Outlook, choose test 2. User is going to be test 2. Since this is the first time Outlook is being opened by this username. It may take a while for Outlook to configure itself. So now we are logged in as user test2, and as you can see, if we go into the calendar, there are no entries in here. So now we want to open the calendar that belongs to user 1. Very easy. Simply click on File, Open, Other Users folder, type in the name of the other user, which is test1, and folder type we're going to use calendar. Now, here is a list of folders that you can share. These are the standard folders that Exchange creates by default. As you can see, there is no mention of any other folders here. These are the only folders you can share with other users. So if you have a custom folder, you will not be able to share that. In this case, I want to open the calendar. Click OK. Outlook will do its thing. It will check permissions, go out to the server, and open the other calendar. So now we have two calendars showing. The default calendar is my calendar, which is user test2, and the other user test1, I can see their calendar. It's as easy as that. So let's say we want to share contacts. Now, since we are logged in as user test2, let me simply share my contacts. You can either go through the folder list, or you can simply click on Contacts and right click on your folder, Properties, Permissions, Add the other user, which is test1 now, and give the appropriate permissions. Again, it's real hard to track permissions from here, so I always like to select individual permissions. I want to give full access. I want them to be able to edit own, folder is visible, and delete own. So that way only the items that were created by test1 can be deleted, even though it's test2's contacts. It can get confusing at times. So I'm going to say OK. So now I've shared contacts with user test1. I'm logged in as user test2. Let me create a new contact here. That is going to be fine. Simply save that. So now we have a test contact here. Close out of Outlook. Open Outlook. Profile for user test1. Log in as user test1. And by now you know how to open other users' shared folders, and that's exactly what we're going to do here. Since we've just shared the contacts folder as user test2, we are going to open that folder, and our calendar is still shared. Open, other users folder, other users name, folder type, OK. And Outlook does its thing, checks the permissions, and opens the contacts. So I have my default contacts here and the contacts for test2 here. And by the way, that's the reminder for our test entry. I'm going to simply open it. Actually, delete it. And once again, this is my contacts, empty. Test2's contacts with the test contact entry that we created. Simple as that. Nothing to it.